Okay folks, we're back on it again. Gonna try to fix this little Harbor Freight 3-inch trash pump. These things, you know, we can go over the whole discussion about Harbor Freight, but it doesn't matter. They've started a new policy now though. It used to be when you warrantied a pump, you take it back to the store, they take the old one, they give you a new one, done. Now, you have to call in and have a gift card mailed to you in 5 to 7 days, which sucks, but you get to keep the old pump. So I got digging around online. I called Predator, the number that's in the manual for Predator. Couldn't get through to them. The line doesn't work. I contacted Harbor Freight directly and said, "Hey, is there any way you can get parts for this?" And they said, "Oh yeah, we can get you the carburetor kit only for $50." Well, I found online through this OMB warehouse a carburetor kit that says it'll fit for any Predator 212cc engine, which is exactly what this is. So, OMB warehouse, it was $20 for the carburetor kit, which is here. And it was, which the carburetor kit included this little lever. And then each of these little gaskets were like $1.50 a piece. They have a whole gasket kit you can buy for like $20 that has every gasket for the engine. Maybe all but one. Maybe I think it's missing one, but it had this one in the kit. No, it had this one in the kit. Had this one in the kit. Did not have this one in the kit. This one was listed as a standalone carburetor intake seal. This one was actually listed under a Honda engine gasket, but it's a universal sort of gasket. It fits these Predator engines too. So I had to kind of figure that out because it didn't say it was for Predator. They had it listed under the Honda engines, but I actually spoke with their tech support at OMB, and they found the right one for me. So anyway, we're going to get this taken apart and see if I can get this gasket kit put back on, or get this carburetor put back on. I'm still waiting to get my gift card in the mail, but if I do, I may use it to buy a third pump, or I may use it to buy something else I want from Harbor Freight. But I'm going to try to get this pump fixed because it troubles me to have one sitting around that don't work. So we're going to be taking off whatever we have to on here, all these plastic shields. The carburetor sits right in here behind these shields. These are the two bolts you have to take, or the two nuts you have to take off the studs, and the whole carburetor thing will slide off. I may have to take the pump out of this metal cage. I'm not sure yet if I'll have room to pull it out, but I'm going to try and see. Okay, so we've got it all apart now. Had to make a couple changes of plan. I had to unbolt the whole motor and pump from the frame because when I went to slide the carburetor out, it was hitting this bar. I figured I would have to. I was going to try anyway without it, but yeah, I ended up having to. So for the motor, 2 bolts down here on this side, and then 1 up on the pump up there, and then the same thing on the other side. 2 on the motor, 1 on the pump. The ones on the pump are actually slotted, so you just loosen the bolt or loosen the nut a little bit, and then slide the whole thing forward. Now they were a 13mm nut and a 10mm bolt head. Go figure. But anyway, got that out. Got all of our plastic garb here off, and then the whole carburetor, of course, it just slides right out. So here's that gasket carburetor, and then that goes from the air intake, and then you got another gasket here. That's that smaller one that I said. That's this one here. That the kit says it's a Honda carburetor, but it will work here as well. So anyway, I got the old one off, and now we're just gonna slap the new one on and bolt it all back down and see how she runs. So the first thing on is our new gasket. And then we're going to get our new carburetor here. There's our new gasket. Get our new carburetor lined up. I have found, though, it's easier to connect this recoil spring to your carburetor first and then slide your carburetor on. It's hard to bend. This is the real fine wire, and you don't want to bend it or kink it. So it's actually easier to put the carburetor body over there to it and kind of line it up and then slide it all on and then put the actual lever in. So I'm going to need 2 hands. Let me do that real quick. Okay, so like I said, I just hooked this on there just because it was easier first, and then kind of real gentle stretch the spring out to where I can slide this on, and as I slid into position, went ahead and put the main lever on there, and then you can see just slides right into place on our gasket. I'll get my fuel line here hooked back up, and then put my outer gasket, which I can put it on now. That's fine. The outer gasket here is just going to set up just like that. Yeah, that looks good. And oh, my actual fuel valve, my fuel valve handle here. No, this is my choke handle. Gotta put my choke handle on. It just sits up top here on this little pin. just like that. There's your choke. I guess they just take the handle off just to make it ship a little bit easier. Anything to save a little space. So let me get the rest of it bolted back together here, and we'll try to get her fired up and see if it'll run. Alright, so we got her all slapped back together here. I managed to hoss it out of the truck despite my bum knee. But got it drug over here close enough. I grabbed a garden hose and just used it to prime it. And I'm going to try to get it started. I got to be careful because the pull rope is a little loose. It only has one out of the 3 screws that are supposed to hold it on there, so I need to get some bolts to replace that. But I'm going to have to take the one remaining bolt and just go to a hardware store and see if I can find one to match. But anyway, I've got some gas put in it, so we'll give her a couple tugs here and see if I can't get it started. So I had it choked with no luck. So I took the choke off, gas is on, and about a 1/3 throttle, half throttle. It kind of sputters like it wants to start, but of course it ain't helping that I've got to hold my hand on this housing. I don't know. It almost sounds like it isn't getting spark. We put a brand new spark plug in it, but I'll have to actually take it apart and check and see if it's actually getting a spark or not. It was. Well, heck yeah, it was. Because I had it running before I swapped out the carb kit. And now it just acts like it can't quite stay fueled. So I might keep tinkering with it here and see what I can find, but it's not looking too promising.